have the widely planted Schinus Molle, the so-called Peruvian pepper, an introduced tree from the highlands of Peru, the Andes, South America, a hardy, robust, durable, long-lived, disease-free tree that is well adapted to Southern California, brought here by the Spaniards a long time ago, and we find it throughout Southern California, widely planted as a reliable landscape tree. Very lovely, easy care, long-lived. They do accumulate deadwood, and so occasionally they need a little bit of a cleaning. It's an easy tree to have, it's a resilient tree to have, and it's mainly pretty forgiving. Even harsh cuts many times don't slow this tree down that much, but they do eventually cause some dieback. The Schinus Molle in maturity takes up a lot of space. It's a pretty full-size tree. They need room. If you have overhead power lines or electrical grid and so forth overhead, you wouldn't want to plant this species under power lines or high tension lines. It's known to have a fairly high crown height in maturity, and we don't want to top and stump and tip the tree and disfigure it. We want to be out from under the utility grids. We don't want to be too close to the building. We should leave a good space between the Schinus Molle and a building. This is appropriate. This is about 20-some feet, which is normally enough for a species like this. So the tree is adaptable. It'll tolerate a wide variety of soils, and so we could say that it's a versatile tree, very durable and long-lived. Also, being a dryland tree requires very little irrigation, so you don't have to put out a lot of water. We need to be water-wise with our landscapes. This is a low water requiring tree, and like an oak, we don't rake up the leaf litter from the forest floor. Best management of the Schinus Molle is to allow a forest floor of leaf mulch to make that thermal and moisture insulating blanket over the root zone. So it's a less is more management practice, sort of the benign neglect management style where we do almost nothing to the tree. We hardly prune them except for deadwood. We don't even rake up the fallen leaf. Easy care, long-lived, disease-free, well-anchored. We don't find them blowing down a lot, strong in the ground. Occasionally you'll get a tear out or a split or a break in the tree, but generally they'll just hang there and wait for you to come back and prune them out. They're not a kind of crash and collapse type species. So the main error that's made is root damage and over-irrigation and excessively aggressive pruning. Those are the key things that give them problems. But the right site, well chosen, well placed in the landscape, the right tree on the right spot, long-lived, easy care, hardy, and reliable. These little bitty peppercorns are the fruiting. You can see these are present here. They'll go pretty red when they ripen. I think the Spaniards must have highly prized these guys because they went to the trouble to bring it to California from Peru. If you're going to have the Schinus Molle, you want to be able to turn over a portion of the yard to the needs of a species like this. They do require significant room. We do know that this is a descending, rounded crown, decurrent species. The upright leaders eventually arch and descend in a rounded crown form, and they'll come all the way to the ground, unpruned. So you have to be willing to do some fringe management. If you don't mind having that descending veil of fringe, or you want to utilize the descending fringe veil as screen or for privacy or for loveliness, you certainly have a good choice in the Schinus Molle. Far superior, I think, than many of the willow species, which are so delicate and prone to diseases and decline. This tree is hardy, tough, long-lived, and easy care. So it is a desirable tree, and if you have enough space for it, the Schinus Molle is a fine tree.